The town of Riverton looked ordinary to everyone else, but to Adam Cole, it felt like a courtroom where he was judged every single day. People knew his name, yet no one truly knew him. Some called him unlucky. Some called him weak. Most simply looked through him, as if he didn't exist. Adam grew up in a small rented house at the edge of town. His father passed away when Adam was only 12, leaving behind silence, unpaid bills, and a broken family. From that day on, Adam watched his mother age too quickly, her hands rough from work, her eyes tired from worry. She never complained, never cried in front of him, but Adam could feel her pain in every quiet breath she took at night. "I'll change everything one day," Adam used to promise her. And he truly believed it. He studied hard, worked part-time jobs, and kept his faith strong. While other boys laughed in cafes, Adam rushed between college and work, dreaming of a future where his mother could finally rest. For a while, things seemed to improve. Adam got a decent job at a private company. His friends praised him. Relatives smiled again. Invitations started coming. People answered his calls. Success, even small success, has a strange power. It makes people remember you. Adam helped others whenever he could. He paid for meals, lent money without hesitation, and stood beside people in their hard times. He thought friendships were built on loyalty. But life tests beliefs brutally. One unexpected morning, the company announced sudden layoffs. Adam's name was on the list. Just like that, no warning, no explanation, his job was gone. At first, Adam wasn't afraid. "This is just a phase," he told himself. "Allah has a better plan." But days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Emails went unanswered. Interviews ended with polite smiles and empty promises. His savings disappeared. The same phone that once rang constantly now stayed silent. He noticed something painful. People changed. Friends stopped calling. When Adam reached out, replies came late or not at all. Some made excuses. Others avoided him openly. Invitations vanished. Smiles became forced. One evening, Adam walked past a cafe where his old friends were sitting together. Laughter filled the air. He raised his hand to greet them. They looked away. His hand slowly dropped. That night, Adam sat alone in his room, staring at the wall. The same room that once felt full of hope now felt like a prison. The ticking clock sounded louder than his thoughts. "Why?" he whispered. "Why do people leave so easily?" As his situation worsened, even relatives began to distance themselves. "You should have saved money," one said. "You trusted people too much," another mocked. Some blamed his faith. Some blamed his destiny. But the worst moment came on a hot afternoon when Adam stood outside a shop, waiting for an interview result. Two former colleagues walked by, unaware of his presence. "Adam," one laughed. "He's finished." "Yeah," the other replied. "Stick with winners, not losers." Their words cut deeper than any insult he had ever heard. Adam felt his chest tighten. His legs trembled. He wanted to shout, to explain, to tell them he was still trying, but no sound came out. He walked home slowly, feeling smaller with every step. That night, hunger kept him awake. His mother was visiting a relative, unaware of how bad things had become. Adam didn't want her to worry. He lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every rejection, every ignored message, every mocking smile. Around midnight, he couldn't take it anymore. He climbed the stairs to the rooftop of his building. The city lights sparkled below, alive and careless. Cars moved, people laughed somewhere, life went on without him. Adam fell to his knees. Tears streamed down his face, silent but heavy. Ya Allah, his voice broke. I tried. I worked hard. I trusted people. I trusted you. But everyone has turned away from me. He pressed his forehead to the cold floor. If people don't want me, do you still want me? If I am worthless to them, am I still valuable to you? The wind brushed his face as if listening. For the first time in his life, Adam felt completely alone yet strangely honest. No masks. No expectations. Just a broken servant speaking to his Lord. He didn't hear a voice. He didn't see a sign. But something inside him softened. That night, Adam understood a painful truth. People love you for what you have. God loves you for who you are. He wiped his tears, took a deep breath, and whispered one last line before going downstairs. Even if the whole world rejects me, I will not leave your door. Unseen by human eyes, a new chapter had begun the morning after that long night on the rooftop. Adam woke up with swollen eyes and an aching heart, but something inside him felt different. The weight was still there, yet it had shifted. It was no longer crushing his chest, it was resting in his hands, as if God had said, "Give it to me." Adam performed wudu slowly, letting the cold water run over his face. Each drop felt like it was washing away a layer of disappointment. He stood for far prayer in his small room, the call to prayer echoing faintly from a distant mosque. For the first time in weeks, he didn't ask for a job. He didn't ask for money. He didn't even ask for success. He only said, "Ya Allah, don't leave my heart." After the prayer, Adam sat quietly. The silence no longer scared him. It felt honest. With his savings gone, Adam made a difficult decision. He left his rented apartment and moved into a tiny, neglected room near the old mosque at the edge of the city. The walls were cracked, the window barely opened, and the light bulb flickered like it was about to give up, just like him. But the rent was cheap. And the mosque was close. His life became simple, almost invisible. One meal a day. Long walks. Long prayers. No unnecessary words. Every morning, Adam went to the mosque before sunrise. He noticed dust on the floors, scattered shoes, and water dripping near the entrance. Without telling anyone, he started cleaning. He swept the floors, arranged the shoes neatly, and fixed small things where he could. People walked past him without noticing. And strangely, Adam was okay with that. He remembered how people only noticed him when he was useful to them. Now, being unseen felt like freedom. He was no longer performing for approval. He was living for Allah. Sometimes, hunger returned like an old enemy. His stomach would twist during long afternoons. When that happened, Adam would drink water and remind himself, this pain is temporary. Allah is permanent. One evening, as rain poured heavily, Adam noticed a wounded stray dog shivering near his room. Its leg was injured, and its eyes were filled with fear. People passed by, covering their faces from the rain, ignoring the animal's cries. Adam hesitated. He barely had food for himself. But his heart spoke before his mind could stop it. He brought the dog inside, wrapped it in his only blanket, and shared half of his bread. The dog ate slowly, as if unsure whether this kindness was real. Adam smiled softly. "Looks like we're both unwanted," he said quietly. That night, as the dog slept beside him, Adam felt warmth in his chest, not from the blanket, but from something deeper. Kindness, he realized, doesn't need abundance. It only needs sincerity. Days passed. The dog healed slowly. Adam named him Sabr, patience. Each morning, Adam and Sabr walked together to the mosque. People smiled at the dog more than they ever smiled at Adam, but Adam didn't mind. He had learned not to measure his worth by people's reactions. One afternoon, an elderly man sitting near the mosque watched Adam quietly as he helped an old worshipper tie his shoes. "Son," the man finally spoke, his voice calm but firm. "Why do you do all this?" Adam looked surprised. "Do what, uncle?" "Serve without being seen. Work without being paid." Adam thought for a moment, then replied, "Because Allah sees." The old man nodded, as if he had found the answer he was looking for. From that day on, the man began speaking to Adam more often. He asked about his life, his struggles, his faith. Adam didn't exaggerate or complain. He spoke honestly, calmly, with dignity. One evening, the old man said something that stayed with Adam forever. "Son, when Allah removes people from your life, it's not always punishment. Sometimes, it's protection." Those words settled deep in Adam's heart. He realized how many people he had trusted blindly before. How much he had given to those who never valued him. How often he had mistaken noise for love. Now, in this quiet life, Adam felt closer to God than ever before. He began memorizing verses of the Quran he had ignored in his busy past life. Verses about patience. About trust. About how Allah is closer than one's jugular vein. At night, Adam prayed tahajjud in complete darkness. No one knew. No one praised him. But his tears flowed freely, without shame. "Ya Allah," he whispered, "even if you give me nothing, don't take yourself away from me." Slowly, Adam's heart healed. He was still poor. Still unemployed. Still forgotten by people. But he was no longer broken. Unseen by Adam, Allah was shaping him, strengthening his patience, polishing his sincerity, preparing him for something far greater than the shallow acceptance of people. Because when only God listens, He listens deeply, time moves differently in Adam's quiet world. Days no longer rushed him. Nights no longer frightened him. Life had slowed to a rhythm shaped by prayer, patience, and small acts of sincerity. Adam still lived in the same cracked room near the mosque. He still ate simple meals. He still walked through the city unnoticed. But inside him, something powerful was growing. The old pain, the bitterness of rejection, had softened into understanding. Adam no longer replayed insults in his mind. He no longer wondered why people had abandoned him. He had handed those questions to Allah and trusted that one day, the answers would make sense. Every morning after Far, Adam cleaned the mosque and sat quietly in a corner, reading Quran while Sabr slept near his feet. Worshippers came and went. Some nodded politely. Most didn't see him. Except one. The elderly man, the one who had spoken about protection, continued to observe Adam with calm, thoughtful eyes. He never interfered, never offered pity. He simply watched sincerity at work. One afternoon, as sunlight filtered through the mosque windows, the old man called Adam closer. "Son," he said, "what would you do if Allah opened a door for you again?" Adam paused. "I would walk through it with gratitude," he replied. "And I would never forget who opened it." The old man smiled. A few days later, Adam received an unexpected request. "Come with me tomorrow," the man said. "I want to show you something." Adam didn't ask questions. He had learned that patience often brings clarity. The next morning, Adam followed the man to a small warehouse on the other side of the city. It wasn't impressive, just a modest business dealing in supplies and distribution. Workers moved in and out. Orders were being loaded. The place smelled of effort and honesty. "This is my business," the old man said. "It's small, but it runs on trust. He looked Adam straight in the eyes. "I don't need degrees or perfect resumes," he continued. "I need a man whose heart is clean. Will you work with me?" Adam's throat tightened. For a moment, he couldn't speak. "Yes," he finally whispered, his voice trembling. "With all my heart." That first day, Adam worked harder than he ever had before, not out of fear, but out of gratitude. He arrived early, left late, and treated every task with respect. He spoke kindly to customers, honestly to suppliers, and humbly to co-workers. Mistakes happened, but Adam owned them. Success came slowly, but he didn't rush it. People began to notice. Customers trusted him. Workers respected him. The elderly man watched quietly, his faith in Adam growing stronger with each passing day. Months turned into years. The small business expanded. New contracts came. More workers were hired. And whenever decisions had to be made, Adam's opinion mattered. But success didn't change him. Adam still visited the mosque daily. He still fed stray animals. He still lived simply. He remembered the nights when he had nothing, and he never allowed pride to enter his heart. One evening, a young man came to the warehouse looking for work. His clothes were worn. His eyes were heavy with rejection. Adam saw himself in that young man. "Have you eaten?" Adam asked gently. The young man shook his head. Adam smiled and handed him food before asking any questions. That moment reminded Adam of a truth Allah had taught him through pain. Those who have suffered deeply recognize suffering quickly. Years later, Adam stood in an office overlooking the same city that once ignored him. The cafe where his friends had once laughed without him was still there. Life looked the same, but Adam was not. One afternoon, two men walked into his office, nervous and hesitant. He recognized them instantly. They were the same people who had once called him a loser. "Adam," one of them said awkwardly, "we heard you might be able to help us." Adam looked at them calmly. No anger. No satisfaction. Just clarity. He remembered the hunger. The loneliness. The rooftop tears. And then he remembered Allah. "I'll see what I can do," he replied gently. After they left, Adam closed his eyes for a moment and whispered, "Thank you, Ya Allah, for protecting my heart." He understood something powerful then. If success had come earlier, it would have destroyed him. If people had stayed, they might have distracted him. If life had been easy, his faith might have been weak. Allah had delayed his rise, not to punish him, but to prepare him. Adam walked to the mosque that evening and prayed with the same humility he had when he was poor. Because in his heart, nothing had changed. He was still the same man. Just stronger, wiser, and closer to God. And though people now stood beside him, he never forgot the time when only Allah stood with him. Years later, Adam often stood alone on the balcony of his office after sunset, watching the city breathe. The same streets that once felt cruel now looked peaceful. Cars still rushed. People still chased dreams. But Adam no longer felt the need to be seen by any of it. He had learned something priceless. When God chooses you, He first empties you. One evening, Adam received a call from his mother. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with pride. "People speak your name with respect now," she said softly. "I prayed for this day." Adam smiled, eyes moist. "Ammi," he replied, "pray that I never forget where Allah brought me from." That night, Adam returned to the small mosque near the edge of the city, the same one where his transformation had begun. The walls were freshly painted now. The floors were clean. New lights glowed softly. But Adam walked slowly, remembering the cracked tiles and silent nights. He sat in the same corner where he once prayed with an empty stomach and a heavy heart. A young boy approached him. "Uncle," the boy asked innocently, "is it true you were once very poor?" Adam looked at him and smiled. "Yes," he replied. "But I was never alone." The boy didn't understand, but one day, he would. As Adam walked outside, he noticed a man sitting on the steps of the mosque, head lowered, shoulders shaking. Something about him felt familiar. Adam sat beside him. "What's wrong, brother?" he asked gently. The man laughed bitterly. "Everything," he said. "People have left me. I've lost my job. I feel invisible." Adam felt his chest tighten. He was looking at his past. The man continued, "I pray, but it feels like no one is listening." Adam placed a hand on his shoulder. "When everyone leaves," Adam said quietly, "that's when Allah comes closest." The man looked up, confused. Adam didn't preach. He didn't promise miracles. He only said what life had taught him. Stay at Allah's door. Even when you feel unworthy. Especially then. Over time, Adam became known not just for his success, but for his mercy. He funded education for children who couldn't afford school. He gave jobs to those others had rejected. He helped quietly, without announcements or cameras. Because he knew something the world often forgets. Allah raises people not to show power, but to spread compassion. One afternoon, Adam was invited to speak at a community gathering. The hall was full. Faces watched him with admiration. He stood at the podium, calm and composed. "I wasn't always standing here," Adam began. "There was a time when people avoided me. When doors closed. When I felt forgotten. The room grew silent. But I learned something," he continued. "People reject you when they see your weakness. Allah chooses you because He sees your sincerity." Some people wiped tears. Adam finished with words that came from his soul. If you're rejected today, don't beg for acceptance. Build connection with Allah. People may leave, but He never does. That night, alone again, Adam returned to the rooftop, not in pain, but in gratitude. He stood under the same sky, but with a healed heart. He remembered his broken prayer from years ago. If people don't want me, do you still want me? Now, the answer was clear. Allah had not only wanted him. Allah had chosen him. Adam bowed his head and whispered, "Thank you for the rejection. It saved me." He realized the final truth of his journey. Rejection is not Allah's rejection. Delay is not denial. Loss is not abandonment. Sometimes, Allah removes everyone so you can recognize who truly remains. As the night breeze touched his face, Adam smiled, not because life was perfect, but because his faith was complete. Final moral. When people reject you, don't chase them. When doors close, don't force them open. Turn to Allah. Because what people throw away in disappointment, Allah raises with honor. And remember, you were never rejected. You were being prepared.